Fires one towards the goal. That's going to be gloved by Travis Ridgen. Well, this is more like it.
This is Slangin The Bizkit. Here's Travis Ridgen and Dave Wheeler.
Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there.
Hey, happy Mother's Day, all you moms. We love you.
I don't think many moms listen to podcasts outside of mine, but if you do, shout out to you, to all the moms.
I'm a mother lover, you're a mother lover. Saturday Night Live?
No.
No? Justin Timberlake and Digital Shorts, Andy Samberg?
Sorry, Boomer.
It was the follow-up to, you know Dick in a Box, right?
Oh, yeah.
That classic one?
Dick in a Box.
This was a follow-up to that, and it was a Mother's Day special, and they were mother lovers, and so they loved each other's mothers so much they swapped moms.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dick in a Box is unmatched.
I agree. Yeah, those two are a comedic musical dynamo.
Also got a new vlog up today, too, for the first time in over a month.
About time.
I know, I've been slacking a little bit.
What's this one on?
It's a Mother's Day special on my NHL dream is over and just kind of like outlining some like career goals and what's coming up next and a little bit of reflecting. You're in there too, a couple of clips, you and Panda, and us recording the show as we always do.
Nice.
Every single week. I love getting the clips behind the scenes to kind of show off the studio and stuff. So
yeah, a little BTS. Everyone loves that.
Yeah, a little staycation with my mom, a little staycation, I guess, with Bella as well. Yeah, life's good in the vlog.
If you had a chance to see the behind the scenes of any industry you wanted, which would it be?
I have this obsession with the culinary side of things because like I've worked in kitchens and bakeries before. So like when I went to the Palliser Hotel in Calgary in March and they let me behind the scenes in the pastry kitchen, dude, it was like culinary Disneyland in there. I'm touching things that they don't want me to touch. I'm looking at things. I'm opening drawers. Like I'm just so like fascinated by it because I'm like, where's the bread machine? Where's the proofer? Oh, you guys do it this way. Okay, like I just find that really cool.
Cool.
Wouldn't mind like the minor pro sports thing, seeing golfers behind the scenes or seeing like football players, basketball players. But
well, I think we get a lot of that now with streaming services like Netflix, Drive to Survive for Formula One. You get Full Swing in the golf. You get the NHL Road to the Winter Classic on HBO. I think there's been, especially in professional sports, the curtain has been peeled back quite a bit to be able to give that behind the scenes access. I was lucky enough to have a few people in the realm of magic in that industry who peeled the curtain back a little bit for me, just enough for me to go, oh, I want to know more. I mean, to say I'm a magician is a stretch. I mean, I can do some card manipulation and enough to impress in a room for a small 5-10 minute routine, and I'm pretty good at it. But I just love every aspect of that jaw-dropping look. If I had a choice of one that I haven't seen yet, I'd love to completely peel back Western civilization and the politics and really see what goes on behind the closed doors.
I would love to see them fight. Like, you believe what this guy said about me? Yeah, you know what? His mother's a horrible person. I will take her for a nice seafood dinner and never call her again.
Like
you take that back.
The World Economic Forum. Like, I'd love to see everything that's going on behind the scenes with BlackRock and Soros and all of those. You know, it's been interesting seeing a peel behind the curtains look at what you do in the mornings. I know you brought me in the show a couple times to do the weather where I do a subpar job. Boring, isn't it?
I don't mind doing it. Well, but you have a million things to do, though. Like, if I get here at like 5:30 for the morning show, I'm sitting around my laptop working on my vlog because I just got to read the weather 3 or 4 times. You're doing the music news, you're doing the sports, you're hammering away the whole time, and I'm trying to talk to you. Hey, I'm doing shit. Yeah. I'm actually working here. Remember, I get paid. Remember that morning show you talked about on the podcast, top morning show for 20 years? Remember that? I'm doing that right now.
It is a very intensive 4 hours. There's not a lot of let's just kick back and listen to this song. It's like, all right, song's playing. How much time do I have? 3.5 minutes. Okay, good. And then I working. It's intensive. I mean, listen, I know it comes across as very lackadaisical is the wrong word, but it comes across as very casual. Like, hey, we're just sitting around having coffee, telling a few jokes. It's a lot more involved than that.
No, you guys slug it out. I appreciate it. I know I'm just the weather guy, but it does a subpar job. But
well, listen, it's the difference between the people who show up to a hockey game an hour early so they can see warm up, and the ones that show up right at puck drop. Yeah, there's some people that want to get it all. There's some people that just want the goods.
Warm up is where the magic's at. I've always loved that. Anyway, so this episode is going to be a lot of the playoffs. Playoffs from the bar fight in Boston.
Sure.
Wow. Like the Leafs, the Canucks, lack of street parties, all of it coming up today's episode. What do you think of the playoffs so far?
Listen, I as I've said to you before, I get the majority of my hockey during the regular season through the 10, 15-minute recaps that the NHL puts on. And the way I look at it is I can ingest half a dozen games in an hour rather than having to watch them all the way through, which in my industry works out really well so I can be at least knowledgeable talking about players in the league and standings, and I'm looking at the standings every single day. But when it comes to playoff time, I watch a little more intently. I will make sure that I see more of the games if I have to go somewhere and watch, and I follow. Even if I have to listen to it on the radio, I will. And like every playoffs, there are great storylines, and there are some great storylines in this one. The Florida Panthers trying to claw their way back, unfinished business.
Well played. Claw their way back. I like that one.
Right? See?
Yeah,
See?
20 years radio right there.
That's what that yields. And then you've got, will a Canadian team at least make it to, the Stanley Cup Finals, give them a shot. Last team to do that was the Montreal Canadiens. Last team to win was the Montreal Canadiens. I mean, there's so many great storylines. There's the Vancouver Canucks on their third-string goaltender with Silovs. Is that how we're pronouncing it?
Arturs Silovs, yeah.
Silovs, or is it Silovs?
He's got the bowl cut. He needs a haircut.
He looks like Jeff Daniels from Dumb and Dumber.
Hey, Arturs, you get a free bowl of soup with that cut, fella.
When I first, Shilov, and then I heard the announcers, they were kind of like Shilov? Johnson. Easiest way to go.
Arturs Johnson.
So to answer your question in a short form, yes, I have been enjoying the playoffs this year, obviously. I'm trying to figure out, as far as the emotion and where it hit on the level, if I was more disappointed with the Jets getting knocked out or happier with the Leafs getting knocked out. I think it kind of balances out, because as disappointed as I was to see the Jets get knocked out 4 straight after winning Game 1, watching the Leafs lose in overtime, sorry Leaf fans, it felt good.
In Boston, Game 7, overtime.
It felt good.
Both goals in 2013 and 2024. The goalie was on his stomach.
It kind of felt good. I'm going to, I've been listening to some podcasts. I watched the press conference, because as much as I despise the Toronto Maple Leafs, there is a part of me that when they do eventually, whether I'm alive or not, do win a Stanley Cup, there is no more deserving fan base in the National Hockey League that deserves one. It's kind of like, when the Chicago Cubs finally got theirs after all those years of just being miserable and the curse and everything. When the Leafs eventually win, I will clap for them, because, like I said, there's no deserving fan base. But I want you to mention our first sponsor of the show, because Keefe Pelly, I actually have, who is the CEO of MLSE, I actually have a personal relationship with him, and I'd like to talk about him for a sec.
Well, maybe he needs to hop on Sense Arena, the presenting sponsor for today's show. What do you think about that?
Oh, I'm sensible.
How old is he?
Keith Pelly?
Yeah.
I'd say mid-50s.
Oh, he would love it then.
Yeah.
Less wear and tear on the hips and the knees and the back. Sense Arena, virtual reality hockey training at its finest, whether you're living down the St. Lawrence in downtown Montreal, if you are in the suburbs of Tucson, Arizona, rural Saskatchewan, Sense Arena is for you, because it's going to be saving you some time, saving you some money, getting those reps, getting that action in, getting the training in at home. Sense Arena VR training goggles. You can attach them with just your hands, or you can use your actual training gloves. And right now, when you go to the link in the video description, you get $50 off your annual Sense Arena subscription, Sense Arena membership, and train like the pros. So many pros are using it. I'm using it. Dave hasn't gotten a chance to use it, because he's only got one eye and doesn't really work for VR training. But thank you to Sense Arena for sponsoring the show again. And check it out. Link in the video description.
So Keith Pelly, 60 years old. I get, but boy, does he ever look like he's in his early 50s. He's a handsome devil.
Yeah.
He was the CEO of Rogers when I was working with Rogers.
Oh,
and there was a very short period when I was working with Rogers where I was like, I hate using the word, but I was like the golden boy, where there's like, what does Wheeler have to say? Does he have any ideas? What does he think of this? And they'd go to me for a lot of stuff. And that's why they ended up giving me the TV show and syndicating me in the evenings and that kind of stuff, because they were just like, let's, put all our chips in with Wheels. And so I got to know Keith kind of well before he ended up leaving Rogers as the CEO, and then went over and ran the DP World Tour, which used to be called the Euro Tour, but that's the professional golf league over in Europe. He was the CEO of that. And then he came back, and now he's CEO of MLSE, Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment. Here's what I can tell you. Leaf fans, I know it sucks. You got knocked out first round by the Bruins. If it would have been any other team, it would have stung less. I get it. I understand. This is the right guy that you want running your organization. As far as Keefe getting canned, and then Brendan Shanahan sitting there going, "This falls on me." I think you're lying, because if it falls on you, then you should have been walking yourself out the door instead of walking Sheldon Keefe out the door.
They can Keefe, or they can Keefe Pelly?
No, Keith Pelly is the CEO. They fired the head coach.
Yes.
They hired the head coach. So I think Brendan Shanahan and Brad Trelevin are on a very short leash now. And one thing that Keith Pelly said that I really liked, just in general, but I think if you're a Leaf fan, you'll love it even more. But he started off the press conference and he goes, "Listen, I shouldn't even be here, but I just wanted to kind of give you an idea of where we are from an ownership standpoint and how we're feeling. Being a good team isn't good enough anymore." And I thought, put that on a billboard somewhere. Make that locker room talk. Good isn't good enough. I love it. And if you're a Leaf fan, I think you agree with that. With your goaltending, some of your defense, you can't rely on Nylander and then that core that you've had for a while. They're already talking about Mitch Marner, who loves being in Toronto, getting treated like a god. There's already talks about where he's going to go. They're like, all right, so where's Marner going? We know he's not staying here.
What a jackass.
Well, listen, he's not wrong. He was speaking honestly. Why? I don't think we should chastise the guy for speaking honestly.
No, it's honest. And something I've heard from Muzz as well is that when you're in that market, like that's the treatment.
Sure.
But you just got gassed again when you're making a lot of money. Maybe let's, you know what I mean? Like Sheldon Keefe gets canned. He's making his farewell video on his boat, Lake Superior. It's like, a little low-key dig at Leafs fans. Hey, I'm on the river or the lake, whatever. But when you're playing for the team making $10 million, maybe just be quiet for a couple days.
And then what did Auston Matthews do day after?
Oh, my God. If it doesn't get bad, it gets worse here. Like 2 days after they get gassed from Boston, there's some like strawberry fisheries boating trips or whatever in the South promoting, hey, look who showed up for a tour, Auston Matthews. This guy booked this weeks in advance. He was booking this for the end of the first round in case something happened. Like, not a good look.
No, not a good look. The timing wasn't awesome on that one. It's like, hey, I'll book it, but I may have to cancel if we win. Should be a shoo-in, but just in case, put me down as a maybe.
You got the flexible, refundable package. When you book, it's like, for an extra like $100, you can get it refundable. It's like, non-refundable. I should be okay. We'll be out of the first round.
I think we learned a few other things in this first round. The Washington Capitals are basically just a cradle for Alexander Ovechkin to try and beat Gretzky's record over the next couple of seasons. They're not really a contender. They could have just as easily been the Pittsburgh Penguins that were in that position, getting in the Eastern Conference. I think the New York Rangers, and I warned you about this halfway through the season, I think they're the real deal, man. They've got a really, a scary good team. And the fact that they're making quick work of Carolina, that's impressive.
7-0. First time 7-0 since they won the Cup in 94.
That's so good.
Goaltending, 4 goals on 100 shots the last 2 games, games 2 and 3. Shesterkin is the man.
Mm-hmm.
How about that flop, though?
The when he got hit in behind the net there?
Yeah, he sold that. He did the whole barrel roll, belly flop.
Well, sure. And listen, I think the call on the ice was pretty good because the announcers were screaming, 5 in a game for that, and blah, blah, blah. And he stuck his stick in between. Yeah, he didn't do himself any favors by trying to get out of the way. When you're playing the puck behind the net, you're a player. I know they had the trapezoid. It's supposed to be a safe space, but when he saw him coming and after the stick went in, he was reaching to try and get an elbow up in there too. So I think he was a willing participant in that Donnybrook.
It's a good sale. I wonder sometimes if they have like radios on their helmets, like somebody's saying, Igor, stay down, sell it, dog.
You know what? I know they do in the National Football League. They're able to have communications in with the quarterbacks. Not in hockey, not quite yet. And I'd like to keep it that way if possible.
Did you see the Game 7 speech by Keefe, though?
Oh, going into the final game?
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't the most, didn't get me fired up.
We're going to go have fun, breathe, it'll be okay. And then compared to, I saw a clip the other day of Craig Berube's Game 7 speech where he's like, we're an effing good hockey team. We're going to effing win this cup. Let's go. Starting lineup. Here we go. We're winning the cup. We're going back home with it.
I'll tell you, and I know we're focusing on the losers right now, but Patrick Roy, I think he's going to be able to turn that team on the island around over the next couple of years. I think if you give him a good 3 years at least, I think he's going to get that team closer to the top of their division.
Would you agree the Leafs don't have a goaltending problem, though? In all reality, between Woll,
Dude,
Samsonov.
how can you say that?
I don't think they have a goaltending problem.
Of course they do.
Woll,
Who's their guy?
Joseph Woll
Who's their guy?
Joseph Woll is nasty.
No, who's their guy?
Goaltending-wise?
Yeah, who's their guy? Who's their number one?
Joseph Woll.
Is it? Why? Since when?
Because he was nasty.
Just once? And he still lost. And he still lost in the series. So that's your guy.
Well, he got injured.
So is that your guy?
He put up a .960 save percentage in 2 games. He did the same thing last year with Florida, and Samsonov fell down. And then you also got Muzz, 2-time Cup champion, and then you have the whole stock in the American League. They got pretty good depth of goaltending.
Right. So who's your guy?
He's in-house.
That's a goaltending problem. When you don't know Winnipeg Jets, who's their guy?
Bucky.
Connor Hellebuck every single time. In Florida, who's their guy?
Bob.
Who's the guy in Boston? Swayman right now, obviously. So listen, you go to every other team that's succeeding right now, they have their guy. Toronto Maple Leafs don't have a guy.
When you said Boston, I was going to say Tim Thomas. Like, whoa, wait, hold on, it's not 2010.
Buddy, we got to get back.
I just woke up. What? You won't believe what happened in 2020. Holy shit.
Ooh. It was like Austin Powers said, I looked into the 80s. There was an oil spill, a flock of seagulls, and that's about it.
Man, Tim Thomas and his beautiful band of bumblebee-colored men.
Man, he was he was always a great goaltender to have in, and man, off the ice, he was almost as entertaining.
With his politics?
Yeah.
Yeah, entertaining guy.
Yeah, for sure.
Like a lot of them are, was it Holtby too? I think Holtby was like, the Democrats are in, Obama's there. I'm not going. Was it 2018 they won? No, sorry. Trump was in there. So he said he wasn't going to go. Sorry.
Because of Trump. Yeah.
I got my facts mixed up. My bad.
Listen, you know what? He here's, and then I know we're going to, I don't want to get too deep into the politics because you and the chat have said, stay away from the politics. But I will say this. Regardless of what side of the political aisle you stand on, whether it be in Canada or the United States, when you get invited to whether it be the House of Commons or the White House or wherever it may be, you just say yes or 3 bags full. You go and you smile for the camera very much with your team, and then you leave, and then you can do whatever you want. But when it comes to team events, if you are going to divide yourself from that, then expect the scrutiny. Because that's the part I didn't like. It's like, oh, listen, I can make my own decisions and whatnot. But yeah, by doing that, you make a pretty bold statement in doing that. So, of course, you're going to get microphone shoved in front of your face. So if you're going to do that, then you have to kind of expect the at least the questions after.
That's a tough one because some guys are very like tough-headed, right? Like you play with guys like that. I play with guys like that. They're very conservative. Or the few liberals that there are out there, and it's like, is it about the politics or is it about us as a team celebrating our success, getting the cup, and we just so happen to be going to the place where politics is held?
Right. Listen, and that has nothing to do with how you won the Stanley Cup or why you won the Stanley Cup. So just go, say thank you, shake a hand, and then you're on your way.
Or like Ovi, get drunk and get hammered in the fish pond, and we won, baby, we won.
I love the fact that he got to win that in Vegas. No better spot to win a Stanley Cup than in Vegas, even if you're the visiting team. What a great spot to win that. I was actually lucky enough to be sitting on an island in the Bahamas called Staniel Key, having the bar TV, and then in behind that was just ocean, the Caribbean Ocean behind me, and got to watch Ovi do that. That was a pretty cool moment.
Rumor has it he's still sobering up from 2018.
These goals don't count. They don't count. They're in playoffs. I need the regular season goals. Those are important ones. Let's wrap this up so we can get to regular season next year quicker.
I know you mentioned with the Masters, Scotty Scheffler's a boring guy.
One of the most boring golfers. He wins. He's good. I ain't taking that away from him, but just boring.
I think Joseph Woll might be the Scotty Scheffler of hockey, of goaltending specifically. He's so boring. His interviews, very mundane, very monotone, no emotion, nothing exciting about him. And then goaltending-wise, too, he's a huge guy that he just doesn't do anything exciting. He's just right place, right time. He gets hit, big body, in the puck.
That's what you want. That's what you want.
Literally. You don't want to be flashy. If you're flashy, you're out of position.
Well, not only that, but I mean, even off the ice. I mean, I'd rather guys whatever, and not have to worry about dynamics and it's funny. It's something that we had mentioned on the show, but when it comes to locker rooms and whatnot, as important as it is to have all the pieces in place on the chessboard on the ice, it's also important to make sure that you have the right pieces inside of the locker room too, because clashing personalities can mess up that on-ice product really quick.
You ever seen any practice fights?
Oh, yeah. Listen, we used to do that all the time, especially with younger guys. Be like, hey, listen, if I get into a dust-up, what do I do? All right, let's go through the basics.
No, not like let's go through the basics and do some training and practice. Like I'm talking like guys actually like we're banging at practice. Well, okay, let me change my wording. We're fighting at practice, like fist to face at practice. Everybody just circling around, make sure everything's cool.
Yeah, I've seen guys go out. I've seen guys go out in the locker room, too. I've seen guys go and throw on the helmets and gloves.
Cage rage.
Yeah.
Or rage cage.
Yeah, absolutely. Go in the middle of the dressing room numerous times. More times than I can count.
That was before cell phones, though, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so nobody was filming it.
Yeah, no, not anymore. No. Again, yeah. Well, the past will be the past. Marty, we got to get back. Anyways. By the way, I played my first round of golf.
Oh, what do you stroke?
That's none of your business, sir. No, kidding. I went out and played at Southwood. I had a great foursome. I played with my friend, Dr. Hildebrand, who is a doctor of physics, and met 2 new guys. One guy who is a not an architect, but he is a builder, and he has the property, and he sees the vision and works with the architects and builds some really cool buildings. And the third guy was actually a film producer who worked with Drake very, very early in his career. And we went out and played in a very, very, very windy Southwood, which is just south of St. Norbert here in Winnipeg, just south of Winnipeg. And long course, that's actually where the Mackenzie Tour has held a few of its tournaments. So if you go PGA Tour, Corn Ferry Tour, Mackenzie Tour, they've held their tournaments there before. Great course, very open, link style. First round of the year, clubs I had never played with before, and I still kept it under 100. I shot a 94. I was happy about that.
I used to work there in the kitchen. I was the breakfast cook for one season.
Great spot. Yeah, good food too, since you left.
Man, I made a wicked omelet.
I'm sure you did.
My omelets and my pancakes were bitching.
I'm sure you did.
They were.
Can you make good eggs?
They're the best eggs.
Listen, if you can make good eggs,
They
you
make
can
better
make
eggs than
anything.
your wife.
I
No
don't know. My
offense.
kids turned out okay.
No, I'm done with the burnt scrambled eggs we talked about a while ago.
Well, listen, craft dinner seems to be her Achilles heel. But hi, honey. Love you if you're watching.
By the way, shout out to Candace and Crave Kitchen. They hooked it up the other day. Got some really cool meals out to me. They're a new meal prep kitchen in
Crave
Winnipeg.
Kitchen is really good, actually. So my wife's girlfriend is the owner and proprietor of Crave Kitchen in Delhi, and they're this really good. Like if you're a parent that's got kids in hockey and cadets and archery and ballet and swimming and all these different things, and you need a little help throughout the week, and you're in Winnipeg, Crave Kitchen in Delhi, just to set you up just for a week. Just to be able to pull something out of the freezer, throw it in the oven for an hour and a half, and know that it's going to be quality for your family. There's no better place to go. They're unbelievable. And she's such a good chef.
This isn't a paid sponsorship, but I would happily pick up a 4-liter bucket of that chicken salad.
Chicken salad, it listen, is a huge hit in my house. The lasagnas that she does some stir fries. I mean, listen, everything coming out of that kitchen is good.
It's pretty good.
Crave Kitchen in Delhi. Not a paid sponsorship, just worth telling you about.
Just some bitchin' chicken salad.
It's really good.
The teriyaki meatballs, the sweet chili chicken. But, man, the Oilers. You see the Oilers game?
Okay, so here's the deal. I watched game one, and if you are going to be this high-powered offense with the names like Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid and Nugent Hopkins and all the names and Zach Hyman, you got to get more than 16 shots on net. Sorry. Yeah, high-powered offense teams usually do that in a period. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like that was, I don't know what hockey... I know Connor McDavid has done this whole, I'm going to change the way I go. Obviously, scoring a lot of goals doesn't help, so I'm going to let everyone else score goals. He got over 100 assists in a season. Only 3 other guys have done that, Bobby Orr, Wayne Gretzky, Mario Lemieux. Very elite company. I bet you Connor went going, all right, we're on the right track. I'm doing what I need to do, which is what a captain does. But holy man, that was not the team that we saw in the regular season.
It's the goaltending.
Oh, who's their guy? They know who it is, but it's the wrong guy.
It's Grant Fuhrer.
They have had the wrong guy, the Oilers, and then it's so funny because I've said for the past, I'd say 5-6 years now, Oiler fans are starting to have that same kind of annoyance that Leaf fans have. You know what I mean? Where they just go, whoa.
But at least they're winning series, though.
Sure.
Kind of.
Still not getting to the dance, though.
No.
You know what I mean? And listen, a good hockey team and a lot of money, and they're actually almost closer to what the Leafs were back in the 90s, where it was just the old boys club. Hire a bunch of the old players, put Kevin Lowe in there, put McTavish in there, put Gretzky in there, put them all in there. Let's just have a good old time, boys, and watch some young guys skate around the ice. You got to get better goaltending. Number one. They've had the same problem as the Leafs. They don't know who their guy is.
It's so sad because Sportsnet did a feature on Stuart Skinner last week talking about his mental adversity, like his ability to battle through adversity and how mentally tough he is. Nothing phases him, and then boom, he gives up a 5 spot in 15 minutes. But I literally went to bed. I was watching the game. It was 4-1. I'm like, I'll just go to bed. They're going to win anyway. I wake up the next morning 5-4. I was like, what happened?
Well, here's the thing, though. Everyone forgets that despite the fact that the Vancouver Canucks are on their third goaltender, Silovs,
Johnson.
That is still the team that was fighting for the once upon a time was fighting for the President's Cup, and we're fighting for the tops in the Western Conference with the Dallas Stars for a perier of time.
And the Jets, too.
This is a good hockey team. They've been good all year. They went on a huge run, was it a 12 or 13 game run at one point in the season? This is a good hockey team, and they've been building over the past couple of years. They've beefed up their defense. This is a good hockey team.
Well, they had Dwayne Roloson in 06 for good goaltending. I thought Dubnyk was pretty good in the early 2010s.
They had Miller, they had Luongo, they had Schneider. I mean, they've had good goaltending for a couple decades now.
Oh, sorry, I was talking about the Oilers.
Oh, the Oilers.
Sorry. Dwayne Roloson 06, lights out. He was one injury away from winning him a cup in 06.
Yeah, but didn't get one.
He got injured.
Yeah.
And they had Ty Conklin and UC Marker and just letting in softies left and right.
Doesn't seem to be a problem for Vancouver.
No. Dubnyk.
Didn't seem to be a problem for the Las Vegas Golden Knights when they won the Stanley Cup last year.
You know who's good? I know we disagree on this. Mike Smith, I think, is the best goalie they've had since Grant Fuhrer.
And still wasn't good enough.
He won games, man.
No, he didn't win games. The team in front of him won games. And when it came to him trying to to steal a game for the team, he couldn't get it done.
I thought he stole a couple here and there. Maybe not like 2012 Mike Smith.
Not when it mattered.
Well,
was he a good goaltender? Yes. But what I'm getting at, didn't get it done.
He's a carpentry company in Kingston, Ontario now.
Good for him.
Shout out to Mike Smith.
Well done.
I want to be very careful how I choose my wording here because every NHL goalie is absolutely world class. right? Like you're a top 64 in the world for a specific reason.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you have the guys like Craig Anderson where you're like, the guy doesn't look very good, but hey, Game 7 OT, 1 goal away from knocking the Penguins to go to the Cup final. You have the Timmy Thomases, the Dominic Hassicks, even James Reimer, Manitoba, pride of Manitoba, James Reimer. Doesn't look pretty, but he gets it done. But then Stuart Skinner, like, I don't think he's an NHL caliber goalie.
Well,
he is the Achilles heel in the weakest link of the team.
and again, it's not like the Oilers couldn't have made a move at the deadline. It like just to back him up. You know, like they had options, like Stockton, right? They
Jack
had
Campbell.
options. Right, they had Campbell. I think they missed the boat on that one. I think they forgot going, oh, geez, when's the trade deadline? Oh, were we going to do anything about a goalie? We're good? You sure? All right, apparently we're good. It's like they forgot. Like there were guys out there. I would have even loved for them to go after Fleury. But maybe they did. But going after Fleury, just a guy with that much experience to back Matt Murray, somebody to go in there and at least go, just in case. And this may all be for naught if they go on and win this series.
Well, we're recording Friday night. This is going to go up on Sunday morning, so we should be okay, unless there's like a massive blowout.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like moving forward, though, like moving forward for the rest of this series, for whatever it's at, I could be completely wrong. The Oilers could still go all the way. The Canucks still could go all the way, and I'm hoping that it being the last hope for Canada, I kind of hope they do.
Or the Canucks, either or.
Yeah, the Canucks or Oilers. That'd be great.
We got a Canadian team in the conference final,
Totally.
which is nice. But I mean, last year he almost blew it against the Kings, especially with that muffin on the busted stick up to fill up the no. And then he blew the series against Vegas. Played well against the Kings, and now again, dude, like you can't be letting into straight bombs from the blue line, those like softy fake clappers from the goal line, basically. Like it was tough. Like I don't want to speak about it because he's an NHL goalie. He's making I think $3 million, $4 million, and I'm not. I'm sitting here doing a podcast with Dave Wheeler, which is still a pretty good gig, but
Could be worse.
definitely could be in a worse boat. But not the goaltender that the Oilers need.
Who do we got for our sponsor here on the show today?
Team at Manscaped.com.
Yeah.
We love the team at Manscaped. The lawnmower and the beard hedger. So when it comes to the beard hedgers, what I use to fade and taper my beard, Dave does as well when the missus says, hey, knock it down a notch. 90 minutes of battery life, water resistant, 20 different trimming lengths to get it dialed in just the way that you want it. The Lawnmower 5 gets you doctored up for date night. Get all below the belt and your below the belt grooming tailored from the team at Manscaped. Use the code BISKIT, BIZKIT, for 20% off and free shipping with the link in the video description, Apple, Spotify notes as well. And thank you to the team at Manscaped for sponsoring the show as they have done every week for God knows how long. It's been a while, and we love when they sponsor the show.
Hey, do me a favor. Since we're plugging stuff, explain to me, because I'm not a subscriber, but on my YouTube, there's times where a thumbnail of your mug will show up, and it says, like, Watertown Stories, members only. So is that members through Patreon or members through YouTube? Can you walk us through how that works?
Yes, both. So if you're a YouTube channel member or you're a Patreon member, you'll get access to the deleted scenes episodes. So those are only for paid members. So if you join on the free tier, you get access to see that the episodes are there. But if you're not paying for it, you don't get it. So it's $5 a month. You get the deleted episodes. You get my trading cards. There'll be some new ones coming out as well. So there's some cool perks, including the sweater, actually. This is one of the perks if you're a Patreon member. I think at the $10, maybe the $20 price point. All the information is in there in the link in the description. And you can join the Patreon page, support the show during the summer months, and keep these lights on.
Please do.
Appreciate your support.
Please do. Only because we mentioned it about a month and a half, 2 months ago. We're getting closer to that Tyson fight. Seen that boy train?
We gonna do a live stream for that?
Oh, man. Listen, if Jake Paul wasn't scared before, be scared now. Be scared now. Like, now's the time. And he's only going to get better as we get closer to that fight. He's looking strong. He's looking strong.
As an ox.
Oh, and
They call him Iron Mike for a reason.
Not because he was behind iron bars. They called him that before he went to jail, for the record.
And you hear the story when he was in jail. Apparently, there was like a revolving door of like women coming in, and the jail security had to like double the staff just to keep things sane. Where Mike Tyson was.
Oh, he was getting that many conjugal visits, was he?
Yeah,
Good for him.
Chicks were writing love letters, playing music outside the jail cell, like just this revolving door of ladies trying to get a piece of Iron Mike behind bars.
Ladies love a bad boy.
They love a man behind bars, fresh out of prison, 72 tattoos, including a face tattoo and a tiger.
Oh man. I don't know if he was scarier before he went into the clink or when he got out, but at 58 years old, he's scary now.
Man, shout out to that dude on Southwest Airlines that melted off to Mike and got his lunch fed to him in first class.
Yep. That's what you get. Listen, what's the old saying? F around and find out. Dude found out.
And Mike Tyson just feeding him in first class.
Yeah. You might as well have been throwing like peanuts at the back of his head the entire flight. You know what I mean? Like that's basically what you were doing.
Hey, Mike.
You were that annoying little kid that thought you could get away with it, but no, you're a grown man, which means you can get smacked in the jaw real quick.
Oh, man. Speaking of beefs, Florida-Georgia line, you want to start with that?
Okay, you got to break this one down for me. So I don't work in the country realm, but I'm familiar with Georgia. What is it?
Florida-Georgia line.
Florida-Georgia line. Florida, Georgia line.
You know the song Cruise? You maybe want to roll my windows down and cruise.
If I heard it, I'd probably recognize it. But again, I don't. It's not that I don't like country music. I've done my stints. I'm just not up on more of the current country.
Well, I think they had like 30 number one hits throughout the 2010s to 2020.
Sure.
But so you have Tyler Hubbard, and then you have Brian Kelly, BK as he goes by. And so basically during the 2020 election, and again, skip ahead if you don't like politics, this is an interesting story. This is hot in the pop culture.
Think of it more of like this is musical beef. But why is there a musical beef?
You need to understand the political side for the beef to make sense.
Right.
We're not talking politics. But so Brian Kelly is a conservative. He's a Trump 2020 kind of guy. And then Tyler Hubbard is a liberal kind of guy. And I guess Brian Kelly was posted about Trump 2020 during the election. And then Tyler calls him up and is like, hey, man, I like you better in person on Instagram. Me and my wife are both unfollowing you. We need a little bit of a break from you. Cool. So then fast forward to the election. Biden wins. And then they had made a deal that they weren't going to work on any solo stuff independently until 2022. And then Tyler calls up Brian like a week before Biden's inauguration. I think it was in January. It was in February. January. Yeah. And he's like, hey, man, I'm headlining the inauguration. I'm playing live. I also got some solo stuff coming out next month that I'm going to be debuting at the event. I just want you to know firsthand. And it's like, bro, we said we weren't going to do anything until 2022. So he's like, well, what am I going to say? Sure, I guess. Whatever. So then Tyler Hubbard goes on with his solo stuff, which has been pretty decent for the most part for the last couple of years. But then BK's behind the eight ball because he's got no solo stuff. And he's like, I got to get my stuff going on. And he's got this brand new number one hit, Kiss My Boots. Great song, by the way. I think it is about Tyler Hubbard. And so Hubbard goes on the Bus from the Boys podcast, Barstool show the other day, talking about how it was BK's decision to move on and that he has nothing but love for him. Florida Georgia line could get back together and try to paint himself as a hero. And then I guess BK's wife, Brittany Kelly, hears it, calls up the Bus from the Boys, is like, hey, my husband wants to come to the show tomorrow. Oh, okay. Comes down, and he also has a new album coming out, I think, in 2 or 3 days. Should be out by the time this episode goes live. Tennessee Truth is what it's called. But so he comes and explains his side of the story, that Tyler had snaked him to try to get in with the Democratic side in the election, try to win some brownie points within the music industry and with country radio because they're more liberal for the most part. And BK, like you can tell by the tone of his voice, he's been hurt by the man, and he doesn't want to like throw shade and throw stones in glass house, but you can tell there's a little bit of resentment there.
Okay, here's what I'm going to say about that, and I'm getting the information directly from you. So based on what you've told me, here's what I'm going to say about this beef. That's cute. I'll give you an example. There's a hard rock band called System of a Down. Serge Tankian, who is their lead singer, very operatic. I would say, I would go out on a limb and say he has a vocal range of Freddie Mercury with a much harder band behind him, but very melodic, can hit incredible notes, but really solid singer. His brother-in-law is a guy by the name of John Dolomayan. He also happens to be the drummer for the band. The drummer, very hardcore conservative. Serge Tankian, very hardcore liberal. And despite the fact that the band had broken up for different reasons, it had nothing to do with that, because they said when they walk into the studio together, they leave that outside of the doors. And that's as simple as it has to be. Oh, you're a liberal? I'm a conservative. Oh, you're a conservative? I'm a liberal. Cool. You want to make awesome music? Yep. Cool. Let's keep the politics outside. Works for me. And I'll give you another example. Their beef pales in comparison to that we just saw over the past couple of weeks with Kendrick Lamar and Drizzy Drake.
Dude's getting shot.
Oh, that's beef. Now that's beef. I don't know if you've gone through any of these diss tracks, but this is right up my alley as far as the genre of music that I work in. Wow. Like there were actual lyrics that these guys were spitting that made my jaw drop.
Such as?
So Drake, it all started with when Kendrick dropped a verse on Metro Boomin's album that kind of went after Drake, which apparently was about something from Drake years ago, but apparently this had been stewing for a while. So Drake comes out and releases this diss track, and then 2 days later is like, you got nothing, Kendrick, you got nothing. You can't even come back out with a diss track. And so then Kendrick comes out and drops a diss track and called Meet the Grams. Oh, sorry, first he released Not Like Us and then Meet the Grams. And then I think he's released 3 in response, and Drake has done nothing. I think he's done one called the Heart Space 6. But there was one in particular that kind of got people getting their eyebrows up going, ooh, calling out Drake for maybe associating with people that were under the age of 18. And the line that he spits, it's crazy. He says, you're trying to strike a chord. It's probably A minor. Jaw dropped. I was like, holy man. He mentions everyone in the guy's family. And then somebody gets shot outside of Drake's mansion in Toronto, like one of his security guards. What is going on? Wow. Millions of views within days, like 20 million views within a day for Kendrick Lamar's diss tracks. Crazy.
That's some like Tupac, Biggie type of stuff.
Totally. And Ice Cube even commented saying, you hope it kind of stays to music in case somebody, and hope that somebody doesn't get shot. Well, here we are.
Somebody got shot.
Somebody got shot. Craziness.
The movie Semi-Pro. I did get shot.
Oh, it's a dangerous business, man.
I broke this arm playing for you. Clarence, you broke a plane with me in the driveway. You can't even hit a layup.
Tell you what, you want to hear about breaking? I think, and I'm just going on based on what the internet's saying, sounds like Kendrick Lamar walked away the winner in that one.
You have a side?
No, because listen, I love Drake. I think he's great, but I think Kendrick responded and then responded and then responded again, and I'm going to go with the internet on this one. I think Kendrick won this one.
Some people don't mess around. Some people mean business.
Holy moly! But I still love Drizzy. Still love him. I know. That was a great way to rap, huh?
Beef is good.
Oh.
We got a couple of the beefs. This actually works out quite nicely. You hated the delayed start time for the Jets games.
Yeah, listen, I can understand sometimes where they say, hey, puck drop's going to be at 8. We'll start our pregame coverage at 7. Then at least I know the puck's going to drop at 8. But them saying puck drop at 8:30 and then don't drop it till 8:50? Come on. Don't get all the O Canadas and the dignitaries and all that kind of stuff out of the way. If you're going to drop the puck at 8:30, especially when you're messing with the times for in the playoffs because of East Coast and West Coast, you want to get as many eyes on. I get that. Just be honest about what time the puck's going to drop. Because you know what, in baseball, when they say opening pitch at 6:07, guess what time the opening pitch is? 6:07. Take a page out of Major League Baseball's book. Tell us what time the puck drop should mean. Boom, that's what time that puck drop. Please.
I'm curious what went wrong because, like, even for us, like when we're coming out to the games and like we're going to go play in front of a crowd, we have like in the locker room like a big board like puck drop at this time. Oh Canada, well not Oh Canada, Star Spangled Banner, like the whole list of all the pregame stuff. Like we know exactly like what minute everything's happening.
Right.
So,
fans should know too.
Yeah,
I got places to be, man. I get up at 4:00 in the morning.
You got a radio show to do.
Right.
You got a podcast to do.
Exactly.
You have a wife to do gymnastics
I
with.
got lots of things to do.
You got kids to put to bed.
Dogs to train.
You got a pot to scrub with your wife's burnt scrambled eggs.
I got golf to do.
That too. You have my 10,000 text messages to respond to as well.
Yeah, right. Exactly. You gonna drop the puck at 8:30? Drop it at 8:30. I got beef, NHL. I got beef. I'm gonna write a song.
Last time of the season, you jinxed the Jets.
Sure, whatever.
You're
Fine.
over it.
Yeah, it was me. Blame it all on me. The entire season, everything, my fault.
Most hated man in Winnipeg.
Sure.
Right there.
This is it. I'm the jinx.
You jinxed the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
People hate your Fall Out Boy hat, which again, I like. I know we've talked about that personally. I like the Fall Out Boy hat. I don't got a problem with it. Who is it? Brian Johnson, AC/DC. He pulls it off nicely too.
Great hat.
The Fall Out Boy hat.
I've actually got a hat. It doesn't fit me. It was my father's. He actually had an old suit jacket that didn't fit him anymore, and he had it carved up and turned into one of those Fall Out Boy style hats. My youngest son, one day, great story. We'll wrap with this one because we're running along on time here. But my youngest son, when he was going in for, I think it was grade 1 or grade 2 class photos, must have been grade 1. We said, what do you want to wear today? He's like, I want to wear my Iron Man suit and that hat. We're like, great. And so he goes to school and realizes that all these kids are like dressed up nicely and stuff. And he's like, whoa, what's going on? We're like, people are dressed up for, he's like, but when you say dress up, I thought you meant like dress up like Halloween. We're like, dude, you can dress however you want. And he's like, yeah, you're right. And he owned it. It's one of my favorite class photos of all time. My son in an Iron Man suit with a Fall Out Boy cap on. I'll have that memory forever.
That's the oldest boy?
That's the youngest one, yeah.
The youngest one. That's awesome. Almost as good as the last note here. Tom Brady roasting Kim Kardashian. This is the last one, I promise.
That was, apparently there's a lot of stuff that hit the cutting room floor, and a lot of these comics that were in that roast are going around on the late night circuits and podcasts talking about a lot of the stuff that got cut. Oh, some good stuff.
Is he dicing Kim Kardashian right now?
No.
I thought they were dicing it up.
Nah.
I swear they're dicing it up. I heard they were dicing it up. I could be wrong.
Whatever.
I don't know.
Good for Kim.
Yeah, one of the best looking men of all time. Although he can't smile or move his face, he's got so much Botox.
Yeah, he has been stretched a little bit.
Yeah.
But hey, good for him.
He's got one of the best jaw lines of all time. I don't think you need any Botox.
He's the GOAT, baby. He's the GOAT. You can deny it all you want, but he's the GOAT. Count him.
I think the funniest thing he's ever said, we got unfinished business. Tom, you got 7 rings. It's unfinished business. You won that. It's unfinished.
Right.
What is unfinished?
He's got 7 now? He's got 7.
He's got 7. Well, 8 with the one that Giselle gave back, but...
Okay, let's wrap it before we get into too much trouble here. We're not doing a roast of our own.
All right, my name is Travis Ridgen. That is Dave Wheeler. Top morning show in the city. Minor pro hockey goaltender. This is Slangin The Bizkit. We do new episodes every single Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 in Winnipeg, 9 in Saskatoon, Calgary, and 8 in the Pacific Northwest Coast. If you're in the YouTube version, hit the subscribe button and leave a comment. We'd love to chat with you. Dave and I are always in the comments. Apple, Spotify, leave a review.
Thank you for your support. Tell your friends.